welcome to another ShedMate workshop. It's Artur Bessoni here, professional engineer and managing director of ShedMate. And I was looking forward to this workshop. We're going to talk today about engineering demystified for shed business owners. We're going to discover why engineers and shed business owners sometimes they hate each other and what's going on, why there's so much, frustration with communication with engineers, they never get back and all of that. Why is that? So I want to explain some concepts to you in the face of that communication between these two parties. So if you run a shed business, you probably faced this before. So why do engineers make everything so complicated? Why do their reports always look different? I just sent a report to them and it came different. Now I have these massive footings. What's going on? And why does it feel like they're slowing me down instead of helping me move faster? I've been talking to many shed businesses around Australia, and there is something that repeats all the time. Delays in terms of engineering, inconsistent assumptions, extra costs, liability fears, what's going on there. So if you haven't been to other workshops, allow me to introduce myself very quickly. I am both a professional engineer and I own the shed business myself that was supplying cold formed steel. So I lived on both sides of this table, right? Having these discussions with other engineers who were, signing on the projects that my business were in. And I've also been involved in structural design, in which we're developing structural design for other firms. So my goal in this webinar is to translate to you this engineering word in simple terms that makes sense for your shared business. And we're going to cover exactly why those assumptions matter, what are these assumptions, what engineers are really doing, and how you can align with them to save you time, money, and headaches. So if you understand better how the engineers, if you understand better how they work, how they operate, then you can kind of improve your communication with them so your outcomes can be more aligned to your business needs. So the first, comments about this is engineers, they operate under natural and physical science, mathematics, analysis, engineering design practice, codes, and liability. So we're trying to avoid the risk, especially in structural design. If there is something that can go wrong, let's put more, more concrete or more steel because we want to avoid any liabilities or any problems happening there. We're designing for safety. That's one of the criteria, right? On the other side, we have the shed businesses. And for the shed business owners, what they want is to operate under margins. They need timelines and they need to match client satisfaction. And sometimes the communication it's not as it should. So first, I would like to go over who is this workshop for. So if you are in the business of structural steel, that's not going to be applicable for you. I'm going to be focusing more here on the cold formed side of things. We can do another structural steel with web trusses and universal beams in another workshop. This is more for shed businesses in Australia using cold formed frames such as Cs, Zs, top hats, etc. So a lot that we're going to be covering here is related to the design of cold formed steel. There are very good books from the ASE. This is one of them. That's the cold formed steel structures from Professor Hancock. That, by the way, it's pretty much an early adopter of this cold formed steel, and a lot that we do in Australia today is, comes from his work. So let's thank him for the job he's done on all of these. So that's what governs the structural steel, the cold formed steel design.